Good evening and welcome to the Southern University Quarterback Club podcast. It's your boy Al,
It's Catrice.
And BJ Jones.
and we here to bring you another episode. And tonight we got a special interview for y'all. We got former Southern University defensive back All-American Danny Johnson, and also current Washington Commander defender. Um, Welcome to the show, Danny. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Appreciate you, man. It's a blessing to have you on here. We know you in the midst of preseason training camp. How's that going for you right now?
It's actually going pretty good. For me, this is like my 6th year, so I'm kind of getting used to it now.
Okay, cool. So we just go start the interview off with a series of questions, and we just go from there.
Sound good.
Perfect. So, Danny, how would you say your transition from collegiate to pro was, and just basically any information or advice you could give to someone?
My first year, I think probably was my hardest year, and I would say because it seemed like the year was just so long, transitioning from college to training for the combine, taking part in the Senior Bowl, and then just trying to make a roster and get on a team and just go through camp and try to figure things out. But my biggest advice, I think, would be to some of the guys that are at HBCUs is just to take advantage of all opportunities that you're given. And never think nothing is impossible, because the moment you don't think you can do it, I really think, a lot of them can do it. A lot of them have talent. And I think there's much more light shed upon HBCUs and the talent that those guys have.
For sure. And I'm actually glad you mentioned it, because I know it's always talk about how the way with the HBCUs, opportunities are possibly not there for a player to be able to be seen, to be able to make it to the league. But you were able to make that happen. So how would you say you were successful with that?
For me, just knowing what I wanted and not giving up. Not, like I said, it's all about opportunity. No matter how you get there, at the end of the day, you just want to fulfill your dreams. And for me, it was just always about just keeping my head down and continuing to work. I stayed just praying about it and on the things that I wanted to do, wanted to accomplish. And like I said, I'm here in my 6th year. For some people, a lot of people say that's not possible. And then for me, just being on one team for 6 years, I think that's another big accomplishment, being able to be here for basically my entire career. And for me, I'm happy that I'm here, and I look forward to keeping that going.
Okay. So how has your mentality changed as far as preparation, week in and week out for each opponent compared to when you were in college and now that you're in the NFL right now?
For me, just knowing, like, in college, I feel like, us being on scholarship, it was kind of like, I'm here, I got a chance to get an education, I got a chance to play on this team, and, and I get it like with the NFL, like, for me, my mentality has changed, because I would say every year I look at it like, my job is on the line. They're bringing new guys in to take that position. So for me, it's just about just every offseason finding ways that I can get better and looking on ways that I can capitalize and continue to stay on this team. So for me in college, I just felt like, from my freshman year, okay, well, like, what's my goal going into my sophomore year? And it's kind of like, well, I know I'm here, but, how can I make the most of this opportunity by continuing to make plays? But, in the NFL, it's just like things are a little harder because you got the business side of it, and, you're still playing ball, and you got to continue to keep that job and stay hungry so you can try to stay consistent.
Danny, what's some of the challenges that you've had to overcome during your transition from collegiate football, to the NFL? And how did you overcome those?
For me, one thing I would say was a big adjustment for me is when I was in college. I did kick return and punt return, and I didn't really do like a lot of the major special teams in college. And me getting into the NFL just happened to, make sure I keep myself humble by just saying, if I'm not a starter, I can try to make plays any way I could on special teams to try to get on the field and just, like I said, give myself every opportunity to stay on the team. So I feel like that's one adjustment. Also, my second one is being able to just grow and learn fast. Things move fast once you get to the NFL. Like, I would say it's way faster than, what I played in college, and just having to pick up on that playbook. That's a challenge as well. So for me, it was I just reverted back to, like, I was still in school kind of trying to get an education. So I just looked at it like, okay, if I got to sit here and learn this playbook and whatever it takes, if it takes me, getting somebody to help me out, asking me questions about it every day just until I learned it, I did that. And like I said, it's just like, it humbles you and lets you know, like, okay, you can always be brought back to, the beginning and basically starting over. And for me, it just felt like I kind of started over learning new terminology and just trying to pick up on everything as fast as I could because, it moves fast here.
Okay, so we've had a lot of different guys from HBUs coming to the NFL. You got Chester Rogers from Grambling. You had Chad Williams from Grambling. I think right now Jacoby Durant, who's with the Los Angeles Rams. Do you have any relationship with any other guys from HBCUs? And how do y'all help give back or shed light on HBCUs in general?
I actually play with Trent right now that went to Grambling, the offensive lineman. And I got a good relationship with Chad, and I talked to Chester too as well. But just keeping a relationship with guys and even Jatari came from Southern as well. Just keeping that relationship with those guys and try to give advice to those guys that at HBCUs right now, and just continue to show them that it's a way. And I just look at it as if we can get here and we can stick on a team and try to keep doing this as our career, they can do the same. But like I said, it's all about you putting the work in, and like I said, we're giving back. We try to just make as many opportunities and create relationships with those guys, just to to have that line of communication. Whereas if there's any questions that those guys have, like for me, I train in Southern during the off season, so I try to go back there as much as I could and help those guys out, work out with them, and just give them any advice, anything that I know that can help them along the way. I just try to give it to them.
So Danny Johnson, 6-year NFL veteran, Southern University All-American. What advice or what would you tell a young man right now that's being recruited that's maybe considering Southern University? What advice would you give those young fellas?
My first thing would be just go to a school that's going to give you the best opportunity. And I would say before football is to get your education. And I feel like when I committed to Southern, that with Coach Odoms, I don't think we ever talked about football. And that's one reason why I committed to Southern University, I majored in criminal justice, and I wanted to give myself an opportunity if I did make it to the NFL, that I can be successful in other endeavors of life. So that was one thing. And then the second thing that I would give to him is when you get there, just try to make sure you're responsible. Don't try to put that on everybody else. Make sure you do your part as well, because I feel like a lot of us go to college and we look for others to just hold our hand along the way. But one thing I can say is Southern taught me how to grow up fast and be responsible for my own stuff.
Okay, and I know you mentioned this previously. The question was, how have you been able to, give back to Southern University and athletes on the football team? But I know you say you train with them in the summer, you give them advice. What's some advice you give them? And I guess maybe what's some things you've learned in the NFL that you probably could have taught them?
With the coaches that I've had along the way, I've been blessed to learn a lot from them, like recognizing formations on the field, how I played certain things when I was at Southern, knowing the defense. And I try to give those guys the same pointers that the coach gave me. I was blessed, like I said, I was blessed to have so many different ones and learn so much from each one of them. I try to go back there and watch their game and watch their tape and see how they play. And I just try to tell them things that'll help them along the way, just like Coach Biaggi, Coach Lionel Mitchell, and all those guys groom me as well. I just try to do the same thing.
Okay. I had another question too. I guess who was that veteran NFL player or that veteran coach who has mentored you throughout your career, who you look up to, that you want to mention?
Oh man, when I first got here, man, I can name everybody in that secondary. DJ Swearinger, Fabian Moreau, Quentin Dunbar. Man, it was so many of those guys. Kendall Fuller. Man, I can name so many guys that helped me out along the way, and it's not a day that I'm not appreciative of that. Torian Gray was my defensive back coach when I first got there. He taught me a lot. Chris Harris. Man, it's so many of those guys that teach you so much, because those guys actually been playing the game, have coached the game for a long time, and it's just, they have so many corners. And for me, it's I use the term like they try to tell us a lot of times, just stay green and stay learning. I never feel like I know enough, and I always feel like the more they teach me, the more I can go back and help my son, help his teammates, and different things like that. And I just want to continue to be able to pass along that knowledge.
Okay.
That's awesome. Now, Danny, you have already been dropping gems, okay, throughout this whole interview. But definitely, if we have someone watching or we'll watch once we post, if you had to give advice to someone that, you know, has a dream of being in the NFL and is seriously considering this career, just, you know, what type of insight and things would you give them?
On me, just like with the insider just trying to pursue this career, I would ask that you take everything as just knowing like this big side of it. You know, a lot of times in this game, a lot of stuff don't go your way. Like I said, you may not be playing as much as you want to play, but again, there's many opportunities. You know, with this game, a lot of injuries happen. So always got to be ready for that moment. So I feel like that because I still revert back to this story when I was first at Southern, and you know we had all those guys ineligible. And I had to start my first game, and I'm nervous, and I'm like, man, I don't know when this opportunity is gonna come, and it came sooner than I thought it was. So I keep that same mindset of just trying to stay ready even when I'm not playing, and just continue to just be ready when my number is called. And that's been helping me out a lot more this way.
Perfect.
I think we got a question from the comments. Kendrick asks, "How is it guarding Curtis Samuel one-on-one in practice?"
No, it's all it's crazy going to Curtis, man. Curtis like one of those guys, man, that could just turn it on, man. Curtis got crazy speed. But like Curtis is a good guy to be around, great teammate. Guy was just joking around and dancing. But guarding him one-on-ones is nice. It continues to, you know, give you a chance to work on your technique, guard someone that's fast and can change directions in a heartbeat. So, you know, it's great guarding Curtis.
Who is that one player you think that just makes you turn your competitiveness up during practice? Or maybe one person you played against that probably made you go to the next level?
Man, if I could say, it's a couple people, man. They got some guys in this league, but like, you know, just going against Terry in practice every day. That's one guy. Terry works his butt off. I don't think Terry gets enough credit that, you know, to say what type of receiver he is in this league and what he means to our team. But that's one guy that just, you know, he comes to work every day. And, you know, when you go and Terry, you just got to bring your work pail because he's going to go to work.
Okay, that's cool. BJ, Catrice, y'all have anything?
No, that's it, man. Just want to thank you for just taking time out. I know that it's a busy time of the year for you, but just taking that time out just to, you know, spend a few minutes with us. I know a lot of people, you know, have wondered, you know, how you were doing, and trust me, man, you got a lot of fans back here, man. It says something about Southern University and our fans that you got a lot of folks that wear blue and gold, that wear black and gold on Sundays. There's room for the Commanders because you on the team, man. So trust me, man, you got a lot of fans down here at Southern, man, and whenever you come back, trust me, man, we'll love to see you.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
We got two questions. Did any SU players stand out to you during summer workouts?
Yeah, man. Actually, I would say like I would be surprised if this is probably one of the best years that secondary has. Because man, like one thing I told him, you know, every time I would go down there, it seemed like every time I worked out with one guy, the next time it would be 2 or 3 more that came out. And then finally, like kind of like the last 2 or 3 weeks before I got ready to leave, we pretty much had the whole secondary outside. I mean, you know, out on the field working out. And for me, just it's about building that bond and knowing how each other plays. Because the biggest thing is all you have is everybody that's in that room, you know, when it's time to put those pads on. And I think they built that chemistry this offseason and just working together, knowing how the plays and just correcting each other. And I think that's big, and they took that step this offseason. So I'm looking for all those guys to do well.
Okay. And how was your relationship with Coach Dooley?
My relationship with Coach Dooley is real good. I still remember Coach Dooley wanted me to come play for him, and I ended up coming to Southern. And every day I would play, every time we would get a chance to play ground and Coach Dooley was there, man, we would talk after the game for a long time. And, you know, how he was always trying to throw something at me, just challenge me and stuff like that. But my relationship with Coach Dooley is real good. He's doing a good job with the team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this year.
Okay. So one last question. What's that one defining moment at Southern that you had that you could remember that you want to share with everybody? I got one in my head, but I just want to see what you say.
If we're talking about football, I think if I can go back to any game and just play it again, I probably would be that Alcorn game from that interception I had there. I think that was my most exciting moment. Just be able to intercept the ball with one hand. I think that was probably one of the biggest plays.
Oh, that one was cold. Oh, that was cold.
Fire. Fire.
I think that's the one.
Yeah, that's most definitely the one I was thinking because not many people can catch with two hands, so to do it with one hand is just amazing. So.
Yeah, I think that was my best one as well.
Man, I would have went Alabama A&M, man. When they lined you up a receiver and you gave him the and caught that touchdown. All right, that
I told them if they ever needed me, I'd be available, man. So
was...
it's funny that you said that because coming out of high school, that's what I really wanted to play at Southern. But when I got to Southern, I looked at the depth chart and saw how many receivers they had coming back, and they didn't have that many corners coming back. So I told Coach Odom, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just go play defense."
Look like you made the right choice.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Sure.
Most definitely.
Hey, Danny, I know Saturday is a travel day for you guys usually, but do you find yourself on Saturday, man, going on the app trying to check up on the score, see how Southern's doing when you're traveling, man? Maybe talk a little trash to the Grambling guys that you know with some of the HBCU guys in the league.
Man, listen. Every time I get on the plane and see the plane, I'm able to watch it on TV. I try to pay for the Wi-Fi on the plane so I can watch the game. I think I keep up with Southern every game they play. I check the score. I go on the ESPN app, check the score if I can't watch it. But I stay in tune with those guys. But as much as I can catch them on television, and as many times as I can come home, I try to get home and go watch them play.
Okay. We have another question. Do you have any a relationship with the many Hall of Famers that come from Southern University, like Mel Bryant, Harold Carmichael, or Neves Williams?
Actually, Neves Williams was the one that mentored me while I was at Southern. We used to talk. We talked a lot. He kind of guided me through the process of when I was going through the draft. Just telling me just enjoy the moment. I think that's out of all of them. That's the one I probably had a close relationship with. So we still talk to this day.
That's cool, man, to have that relationship, and that's a big thing for Southern. Just so people know the rich history that we have, especially when it comes to talking to different recruits and just letting them know that you can make it from that school on the bluff in North Baton Rouge right there. So those relationships are big. Catrice, you had anything?
No, I'm good. Just thank you so much, Danny, for taking time out to speak with us. And like they've already said, we'll be cheering you on this season.
No problem. Anytime y'all need me, I'm here.
For sure, man. We appreciate you coming on tonight. That's gonna be our show for tonight. We want to wish you well in this coming up season, man. We're gonna be rooting for you, and we definitely gonna be watching. And know that Jaguar Nation got your back, bro.
Man, I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate y'all for having me as well.
Okay. Make sure y'all like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting new content and new interviews coming up soon. So, until next time, peace.